Kaine, we know you have a 4-point economic plan, but what one specific thing would President Kaine do first to restart the economic engine? And again, with the caveat, that one thing would have to get through a divided Congress.
Make the tax rates permanent. That's one of the 4-point plans, because the business sector is the economic engine. You have the group that's talking about spending, you have the group that's talking about cutting. I represent growth, and it starts with the business sector putting fuel in the engine. In addition to that one thing that you asked me to identify, we must have a maximum tax rate for corporations and individuals of 25%. Take the capital gains tax rate to 0, take the tax on repatriated profits to 0, make them permanent and certainty back into this economy, and I believe we can turn it around. And one other thing, we don't have an option to wait longer than 90 days. It is imperative that we get this economy going in 90 days with the next President of the United States of America.
Governor Huntsman, you told the New Hampshire union leader recently you intend to convene a, quote, council of business leaders to figure out what's needed to improve our economy. Governor, you've essentially been running for president for 3 months now. We checked your website. We were unable to find a detailed plan. In the middle of an economic crisis, shouldn't you already have a pretty detailed plan by now?
The plan you will find on our website. It is coming. We have been in the race only for a month and a half. But here's what I intend to do. I intend to do exactly what I did as governor of the state of Utah. We took a good state and we made it #1 in this country in terms of job creation. If you want to know what I'm going to do exactly what I did as governor. It's called leadership. It's called looking at how the free market system works. It's creating a competitive environment that speaks to growth. We cut taxes historically. We didn't just cut them, we cut them historically. We created the most business-friendly environment in the entire country. We were the best managed state in the country. We maintained a AAA bond rating, all of the things this country so desperately needs. When you look at me and you ask, what is that guy going to do? Look at what I did as governor. That is exactly what I'm going to do, and it's exactly what this country needs right now.
Speaker Gingrich, some people on this stage have run big companies. Some have turned around companies. Some managed payrolls. What makes you more qualified than anyone else on this stage to create jobs and grow the economy?
You know, you've been asking about divided government. This coming Saturday is the 30th anniversary of Ronald Reagan signing the Kemp-Roth tax cut, which was done with divided government. I was part of that effort in the House where the Democrats were in control. He did it by going to the American people with clarity, creating a sense of urgency, bringing pressure to bear on the Democratic congressman, and building a bipartisan majority. That tax cut led to 7 years of growth, which in our current economy would be the equivalent of adding 25 million jobs, $4.4 trillion a year to the economy, and $800 billion in new federal revenue. A decade later, as Speaker of the House, we had divided government. We negotiated with Bill Clinton. He vetoed welfare reform twice. We passed it 3 times. He signed it the 3rd time. Largest entitlement reform of your lifetime. We passed the first tax cut in 16 years. The largest capital gains tax cut in history. Unemployment dropped to 4.2%. How would the country feel today at 4.2% unemployment? That's my credential.
Governor Pawlenty, you say your economic plan with tax cuts and spending caps would grow the economy by an average rate of 5% a year for 10 years, a rate that has never been achieved in 10 years in a row. With the last 2 quarters averaging less than 1% growth, and even some Republican budget analysts very skeptical, openly skeptical of that plan, is your proposal just pie in the sky?
Well, the United States of America needs a growth target, and it needs to be an aggressive and bold growth target. I don't want the United States growth target to be anemic or laggard like Barack Obama's. So is the bar high? Yeah. But do we need that growth to get out of this hole? You bet. And I hope people will go to our website and read that whole plan, because it's the most specific, comprehensive plan of any candidate in this race. But, Brett, there's another question here. Where's Barack Obama on these issues? You can't find his plans on some of the most pressing financial issues of our country. For example, where's Barack Obama's plan on Social Security reform, Medicare reform, Medicaid reform? In fact, I'll offer a prize tonight to anybody in this auditorium or anyone watching on television. If you can find Barack Obama's specific plan on any of those items, I will come to your house and cook you dinner. Or
Or if you prefer, I'll come to your house and mow your lawn. But in case Mitt wins, I'm limited to 1 acre. 1 acre.
Governor, any response?
That's just fine.
Senator okay. Senator Santorum, nothing about your lawn, but Governor Pawlenty says America can quickly grow 5% a year for 10 years with the right mix of policies. Is he right?
America has unbounded potential, and I think putting a limit on that potential, we've grown at faster rates than that. For me, it's been a focus on one thing as I've traveled to now 68 counties in the state of Iowa, 50 in the last 14 days, working and meeting with the people of Iowa, and I've been talking to them about what we're going to do to grow the manufacturing sector of this economy. When I grew up in Butler, Pennsylvania, a little steel town, 21% of the people of this country worked in manufacturing. It's now 9%. If you want to know where the middle of America went, it went to China, it went to Malaysia, it went to Indonesia. We need to bring it back. I put together a 4-point plan to do it, including energy, producing more energy, because, of course, manufacturers use more energy than just about everybody else in the business world. But the big thing I've proposed is to take the corporate rate, which makes us uncompetitive, particularly in exporting goods, take the corporate rate and cut it to 0 for manufacturers. You want to create opportunity for businesses and manufacturing to grow, cut that tax to 0, our jobs will come back.
Turning the economy around is the topic we've received the most emails, the most Facebook messages, the most tweets about. Of course, it's topping all of the polls. So finding specific solutions to the country's economic ills will be a recurring theme throughout the debate tonight. Now to my colleague Chris Wallace with the next round of questions.
Thank you, Brett. Good evening, candidates. Governor Pawlenty and Congresswoman Bachmann, as you both know, there's an expression, Minnesota nice, and some people believe that both of you have tested it in recent weeks. Governor Pawlenty, you say that Representative Bachmann has no accomplishments in Congress. You have questioned her ability to serve as president because of her history of migraines. Question, Governor, is she unqualified, or is she just beating you in the polls?
Well, Chris, to correct you, I have not questioned Congresswoman Bachmann's migraine headaches. I don't think that's an issue. The only headache I hear about on the campaign trail is the headache Barack Obama has given the people of this country with his lousy leadership and this lousy economy. Now, as to Congresswoman Bachmann's record, look, she's done wonderful things in her life, absolutely wonderful things, but it's an undisputable fact that in Congress, her record of accomplishment and results is non-existent. That's not going to be good enough for our candidate for President of the United States. That's not going to be good enough for the President of the United States to serve in that capacity. The American people are going to expect more and demand more. And in fact, we need somebody who can contrast with Barack Obama on results. If you go to my record in Minnesota, you'll see government spending went from historic highs to historic lows. We appointed conservative justices, transformed the court in a conservative direction. We did health care reform the right way. No mandates individually, no government takeovers, and more. That's the kind of record we're going to need to contrast and beat Barack Obama.